Welcome to Tailgate Talk, the holiday Christmas edition of Tailgate Talk.
It's here.
Fun fact before we get into the show here. Actually, I should probably say a big thanks to our sponsor, Buckram Outfitters, and everything that they do. Really, really awesome. Again, check them out, Silverdale Road in Pewaukee or buckramarchery.com. I love having them on board this year and into next year, and I know we're going to be adding another business sponsor onto the show here after we get past the first of the year, so look forward to growth and continued things. All right, now that the business stuff is away, I don't know if you guys know this, but we are approaching our 100th show.
You know what? You said something about that not that long ago, and what is it, mid-January?
Mid-January.
February, yeah.
Mid-January, we should cross the threshold of our 100th show. Now, there was a couple of shows here and there throughout the last, 2 years now that, we missed or didn't have. Last year to the holidays, we didn't have a Christmas or a New Year's show because typically, they do like best of things on the sports station we were also. We just didn't bother even doing a podcast.
Yeah.
We just kind of took the time to spend with friends and family. I think the year before was kind of the same thing. But yeah, can you believe, Wags, that this started like January 30th of 2020, I believe, was the very first show, or 2021, sorry, was the first show.
Isn't it? That's crazy, because even think prior to that, how we kicked it around and it never seemed to come, it never seemed to happen, and then all of a sudden it did, and now we look back and it's 100 shows later, because there was at times there was a struggle to get it rolling and to get it going, and after it started moving, all of a sudden you look back and we're at 100.
Despite traveling and coaching and dogs barking and anything that's happening, we're able to just, plow through and keep this baby on the tracks. And it's been a lot of fun, and, feeling like all nostalgic and looking back. I think that's ultimately what next week's show is going to be, is a lot of looking back on 2022 and some of the amazing things that we've done, that we've more so amazing people we've talked to, and some of the amazing conversations that we've had, whether it's among just the three of us or some people that we've had on, including Eric from Okayus Hunter. There's some really great stuff that we had a great conversation with him earlier in the year, and that we were on Dan Matthews, the Nomadic Outdoorsman, on his podcast, did a collab with them. Gussie was on with us, Miss Allie's Kitchen, talking, cooking, vent. Like, we did a lot of cool stuff this past year, so it's been fun. But looking forward to spending some time with friends and family over this holiday, despite how snowy or whatever it's going to be. I know that bodes well for frozen lakes eventually for me, which I know I'm getting very, very excited about.
Yeah, it's crazy to think how fast. I feel like this year has just come and gone, and it has been a hurricane of a year. It feels like the back half of this year, with all of the hunting trips, with our fishing trip to Canada, I don't even know what else. I mean, it seems like it was here and it was gone in a flash.
Craziness.
I remember when Ritter had you, and you had the countdown. I mean, you were countdown to bow season, and it seems like that was just yesterday. And now all of a sudden it's come and gone, and we're at Christmas.
I feel like just yesterday we were all together at Buck Rub shooting and doing our our summer deer season prep show.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been a lot of fun memories, though. I mean, just getting to relive everything, and I don't know, just going through all this. And it's like, boy, it feels like, Wags, I was just out by your place, and we were teaching you how to get in the tree and doing all that. And I know that was after the season started and everything, but it all feels like this whole year just kind of feels like a blur.
That it is. You guys are young. Look about the old guys.
Yeah.
Man. All right, we're going to talk a bit about some. I've got kind of a list of things I put together of great holiday gifts, or really, I think these are gifts in general for any outdoorsman, outdoorswoman, outdoors person that you'd know. A little bit later on the show, we're gonna get to that stuff and see if we can kind of fill in some of this, because I feel like, while it's already Christmas here, come and gone, seems like a day late, dollar short. This is all stuff I think to keep in mind, because there's other holidays that come up. There's birthdays. There's what's what I'm thinking of? Valentine's Day, Father's Day, Mother. There we go. Like there's always a gift giving reason, and I've got a couple of things that, like, especially through the last year, I would say 100% these are something that like everyone should have, and anyone that would get one of these things that I put on my list would be more than happy and will absolutely use them all of the time. So we're going to get that a little bit later on in the show. But while we're being nostalgic to get things going, is there a memory? Is there something throughout this last year that stands out as, if you're putting together your highlight reel, might be your highlight of highlights of cool things you've done, cool things you've seen, cool things you've experienced? It doesn't even have to be in the outdoors. Tasker?
Well, I think the highlight for us this year was last year for Christmas, with our oldest being a senior at Madison and him moving off to Chicago after college, and then our youngest being a senior in high school. We wanted to do a spring break trip with them, so we went to Mexico for 5 or 6 days as kind of their, not even a graduation present, but their Christmas gift that we got them last year. And just we all wanted to do a family vacation together and go somewhere. And I would say that is definitely probably the top of the list in terms of general experience. But then I can narrow it down to 37 minutes of fishing in Canada with you when we went on an absolute tear. And then, my buck memory. So I've got a top 3 really easy for me. There were 3 highlights for sure this year.
That's good stuff. Wags, how about you?
It was, you're right. I'm going to go off of the hunting and fishing thing. I think getting back into, obviously, me playing baseball and now coaching, it was my first year back. It was something that I kind of enjoyed. I missed it. I didn't realize how much you miss it when you're away from things. And as time goes by, things change, ideas change. But the bottom line that I figured out this summer was, in baseball is baseball. You can be 20 years out of the game, but the game still rolls the same way. And I think I look back at it, yes, my daughter's growing up, doing things, prepping lots, prepping food plots, doing those things, going with Kaz, getting the crossbow, doing different things, the interviews we did with that on the show-wise. But I think I look back at it and I'm like, man, I kind of missed it, and I wish, as I get so old, I wish I would have maybe jumped into that coaching realm of baseball maybe just a little bit sooner. Not for a high school level or a travel team or younger kids. Obviously, I need more advanced players and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the way I look back at last summer or this past year and getting back into baseball, and it was kind of nice. It was kind of nice.
Getting back into is a theme. I'm going to jump right off that with you too, Wags, because that was me getting back into tournament fishing and getting out there and doing that. My first tournament up in out of Door County that I fished up there, and we talked about it a lot on the show, and I kind of broke down how I went about it. That was awesome. It has ignited that competitive side that I've missed. I did a lot of swinging for the fences this year with, the tournaments that I did fish, because I wasn't fishing for anything. I was just jumping in a couple to just, get my toes wet. Now going into 2023, I'm fishing a full series and still might even toe dip into a couple of other ones. I'm going to double dip in a couple of tournaments too on there, because it looks like the series that I fish is also going to have another tournament might be on the same body of water at the same time. So it's going to be a kind of crazy and hectic 2023. I really, really missed it, but didn't realize how much I missed that competitive side of things. So that was definitely top memory of me, especially that Sturgeon Bay was the first time getting my feet wet, having a tournament that I did, having to go through some of the struggles that I went through dealing with the weather and everything that changed. And, it was still a really, really cool experience. I think ultimately the biggest memory of that was after I got done and we went back to the kind of awards, as you'd think of as a weigh-in type thing. My wife and son had met me at the parking lot, and I've got my little boy running across the parking lot screaming, "Daddy, Daddy," and saying, "I'm ready for your tournament."
Yeah.
That was an amazing memory that I'm always going to think of. And the other you had brought up, Tasker, was getting to take you up to Canada and, you and my friend Brad, and kind of just do our thing. Just do the dang thing. And like you said, that 37-minute tear, to be able to showcase that can happen and actually have that happen, and to watch someone enjoy that, to me, was better than me actually doing it. Right. I had way more fun watching you just go to town and whomp and smallmouth. And that's the thing, it can happen that fast.
Right.
And to always remember that, you've had that happen now, to next cast, it can happen at any moment. you can stumble upon them like that if you're in the right area and generally know.
Well, if you could put your lure in the right spot and make sure you're casting right, which was half the battle, but that's all right.
I mean, that definitely helps too. But experience teaches you that, but it's possible to happen. And if I have to go top 3, then I'm going to throw in the bad news one, the buck that I arrowed never recovered. I talked about it extensively on the show and described that exact scenario and that whole morning down to remembering everything about it. It was a real cool experience, and it was awesome. While it sucked that I didn't recover that deer, and that's gonna burn me for a long time, I learned a lot, and it was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
That was by far my best day in the woods, and I've really only been hardcore focused on deer hunting for 2 years now?
2 years.
And even at that, I'm still way more focused on my fishing.
Yeah.
The whole the bow hunting. I like it. It's fun, but it's kind of like something that just sits in the back corner of the shop until September rolls around, and then I start thinking about it. And even in September, I'm doing the back and forth because I'm I still love fall fishing so much. But yeah, I definitely getting back into competitive fishing, and then that 37 minutes on the backside there of that island in Canada was tops memories for the past year for me.
Isn't it cool how every year there's always going to be a couple staples, and while you're in the middle of it, you never know when that's going to be the one, and it's just, I don't know, that's what's exciting about turning the page on the calendar and looking forward to the next year, and you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I feel like every year as a deer hunter, you go into it thinking, I know there's deer there. I've got pictures of big deer. I want to be able to shoot a big deer. And then, for it to all come together, I think that's part of the emotion of all of it, is that it's just so exciting when it does actually happen. But we get to turn the page and we get to make some more of those memories and talk about it a year from now.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm still over here wallowing in sadness now that I've just had to rethink again.
It makes you want to be better.
No, it does. I definitely be more motivated into things next year. And like I said, I learned a lot of just everything. I generally picked up a lot of stuff, angles, different stuff like that is going to be far more in my mind going forward. Right on that same experience too, getting to do the whole dog track thing. And going out with Max, the dog, and watching how that whole thing happens, that was amazing. I kept saying that day when, I had to, call Scott and be like, hey, I need some help when we track. I was like, I always wanted to watch this happen, just not with my deer.
Yeah.
So, it sucked that it was my deer, but at least I still got to experience what that was like. And, man, those dogs are absolutely phenomenal, really, really cool. And I think even the handlers are even more phenomenal of putting through things. So again, we talked to Scott. I'm going to reach out to him sometime after the new year. We're going to get him on the show next year. I know, deer season, he gets real busy with stuff, so I wanted to wait till kind of we were done, And I know while it seems like, there's something way out in advance, I wanted to be able to tell the story and talk about that because again, it's all about preparing for next season.
Yeah.
So that'll be the goal when we get Scott on here after the new year to kind of talk about that whole experience and what dogs do and, why it's great to have a dog tracker and utilize them and stuff like that. So, boy, it's been quite a year. It's Ritter, Wags, Tasker. I feel bad at the beginning. I didn't go through our socials or anything. I'm completely forgetting the standard format of what I have to do. How are you going to respond to anything and reach out to us at all? If you don't know, it's @OnTheTailgate. @OnTheTailgate. Collectively as a show, I'm at The Real Ritter, as in fishing reel, at Wisco Bow Hunting for Eric Tasker, and Paul Wagner is Paul Wagner. There, that's out of the way.
Paul Wagner is going to have a New Year's resolution of getting some social handles.
One at a time.
One at a time. One at a time. Oh, I love
people it. Instagrams, TikToks. Running out loud.
Well, I would never expect you to get a TikTok, Wags, but, I don't know. Whenever you get around to an Instagram, we'll make sure that Ritter starts plugging that.
We will do that. The TikToks are for my daughters, and I laugh and have to watch them. But, yes, an Instagram maybe in the future, but I'm always afraid of that getting yelled at. Remember, I was a baseball player that wasn't very successful on the field, at least on the field. So I've heard a lot of things, I go back to what you guys were talking about. We were talking about in the first segment is it's funny, even in the game of baseball, or any sport or any activity you do, you almost seem to remember the failures or the losses better than the successes or the wins. Because as Ritter was speaking, I'm thinking to myself, exactly, you think more about the loss that you had rather than the 2 wins you had. And I think that's just competitive nature in us and how we feel.
Yeah, I mean, why is that? Like that... Focusing on negative, it's always so easy to find the negative.
Yeah.
It's harder to find the positive, and that's something I know I took from Gerald Swindle, Bassmaster Elite Series angler, G-Man. He's like just awesome. But like there was a time in my life where I was really struggling with, that was when I was coming to terms with like having anxiety and all the stuff that I had, and realizing that sort of the key to fixing things was that positive mental attitude. That Gerald Swindle really preaches, and that's what I've tried to and always try to focus on more, because like the more and more you look at the negative, it's easy to bring yourself down and the less you're going to succeed, so like focusing on finding the positive, you can take anything that's negative or bad and it doesn't seem so bad. Like look what I've done with missing that buck again, not to keep going back to that and beating that dead buck, so to speak. But like instead of being mad about it or angry, the first thing I did was immediately trying to find the positives and focus on that, because I think it can make anything more enjoyable, padded better. But it's really easy to focus on the negative. You're right with that, Wags, and I just don't know why, if that's just our human nature that we do that.
Yeah, and it's maybe because we expect to succeed, or we want success always. I mean, I think that's, again, going back to your human nature statement. We want success. We want to be positive. We want to be. So when something goes wrong or something, we dwell on that, and we try, I think, subconsciously, we try to figure out how we don't let that negative happen again. 100 people are asked a question. 99 people love it. They love this place. They have the best food. They have the best drink. They have the best service. One person doesn't like it and seems to be the one out of the 99 is the one that gets blown up. You know what? You're herding sheep. You have 100 sheep. One gets away, and all you're worried about is that one. You're not happy that the 99 stayed on the trail. You're sad and you're missed, and you want to get that other one back. So I think that is. I think it's human nature. It's the negative. It's the failure that we want to turn into a success.
I think you are right on track with where I was thinking with that, Wags, where we expect to succeed, and when we don't, the disappointment weighs on you so much more than it normally would, because you want to be able to send the grip and grin to your buddies and say, look, I finally got it down, and I think there's so much anticipation going into hunting or fishing or whatever it might be, that you are filled with the optimism that it's going to happen. It's that the next cast or the next sit or, whatever it might be, that you're so excited going into it and hoping and optimistic about it, that when you're that close and it doesn't work out, the disappointment just feels that much bigger.
Yeah, like you're trying to boat that 50-incher, and you bring that muskie all the way up, and it gets away, and you're like, oh, that's the one you think about. It's not the one that you're on the shore with, before you let it go. You got it in your hands, and you got a big smile on your face. You think about the one that got away at that last second. It came to the boat and let loose or something like that. So, yeah, it is. It's crazy.
Just had a memory hit me as you were saying that, Wags. That was the Winnebago System tournament that I fished. When I had that frog fish, that was... I guarantee that would have taken big bass for the tournament.
Yeah.
And I got it to the side of my boat, and instead of just boat flipping it into my kayak, I decided, no, I'm going to sit, I'm going to go and grab my net, and I'm going to net it just to be safe. Think, the net, that's the safest way, is I net it instead of just boat flipping. Like, that could be pure chaos. Let's net it. And in that moment that I went to sit to net and reach, it, bing, popped right off.
Yeah.
And I stood there and I looked, and I actually reached my hand in the water for 1 second, like, can I grab it? It's gone.
Yeah.
But that was that. When you said like watching that float, that was it. I can still see it in slow mo. I was like, that was the fish. That would have turned everything around for me. Had I boated that fish, I feel I still would have kept mentally in the game more, and I would have fished out harder, and I actually probably would have finished much better in that tournament than what happened to me when I missed. Oh my God, that was my worst day fishing of the entire year. worse.
I think that reminds me too, perfect correlation with that is like our time in Canada. Like, I remember our little 45-minute or 40-minute tear that we went on. I remember going into all those different bays, but I think the fish that stands out most to me is when we were in one of those bays and we knew it looked really good, and I had that really nice smallmouth that got off right at the boat when I was up at the front of the boat, and it all happened so fast that you or Brad didn't have time to get the net, and I'm like, I'm gonna boat flip it. I'm gonna just try and pull it in. That memory stands out for me, and it's not significant in any way. It's not like it was a record, but that is one that I'm like, dang it. So I don't know. It's probably because we don't have a picture of that fish.
Yeah.
We never actually got it in the boat. It's just like the bucks that I've never found in the past, where it's like I remember everything up to not finding the deer, because we don't have that picture. We don't have that memory of it. And I don't know, they just burn. They sting a little different,
Unless you're filming, and I've got film evidence proof of that bass getting away. Although the angle of the camera,
not good enough.
I'll relive that one over and over and over again.
Yeah.
No, another one of those great memories while they're being reminiscent of things, speaking of Canada, was that night on that flurry. The one fish that I caught of that flurry.
Yeah.
Because that was the night I went out with the big giant, Chapo 120.
Yeah.
And I was like, I looked at Tasker and I go, if I hook one, I'm going to hook it.
Just wait.
You're going to hear a splash, turn back and look at me, and you're going to see the biggest hook set of your life. I only hope Gary's rods can handle it.
Yeah.
And I did. Man. It was one that fish swatted at that bait twice, remember, and missed. Yep. And I pitched right back to where it was and took three turns of the reel, chop, 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 and then just let it have it.
Yeah.
That was a fun one. That was a fun one.
Yeah. It's cool, though, man. That's just what kind of builds the memory bank of just all of these times in the outdoors. And, you never know how many of these stories you're going to hear about for, years to come. And that's just what makes it so memorable, and just being able to get everybody together. And, I mean, I can only imagine. We haven't even gotten a date set yet for this ice fishing jamboree, but I just can't even imagine what kind of chaos is going to happen that day. So it's going to be a blast, though. I mean, and that's what's cool about the outdoors. It's a commonality amongst all of us, and just being able to reminisce on that and think about it for years to come and recap it at the end of the year.
Making memories, man. Making memories. That's what it's all about. Yep. Making memories and sharing memories, with those that you enjoy to share those memories with.
Yeah.
All right, should we take a break and come back and talk about some gifts?
Let's do that.
I've
got a list. I've got some fun ones. I've got some kind of goofy ones.
Oh, and I think we'll talk about bourbon, too, because we've talked about that a lot on the show this last year, and we've not talked about that in a while. So we're going to get bourbon and gifts. Also makes a great gift. We'll circle back. More Tailgate Talks coming up. Hey, it's Ritter, and if you follow my socials or listen to our show a lot, I'm sure you've heard me talk about how relaxing and fun archery is. In fact, my wife has joined me and got a bow of her own at the same place I did, Buck Rub Archery. They are your locally owned and operated one-stop shop for all things archery. With the area's largest inventory, they won't be undersold on any bow or crossbow. It's open to the public and the ideal place to find and test a bow before you buy. Plus, they also rent equipment, offer archery lessons, and have space for hosting birthday parties, scouts, or other events. And if you got an old bow that needs to be fixed, they can take care of you as well. Seriously, check them out off I-94 on Silverdale Road or buckrubarchery.com. Hi, welcome back to Tailgate Talk. Ritter, Wags, and Tasker. You can find us on our socials at On the Tailgate. We've been reminiscing through the entire show so far this week, and we're going to do more reminiscing on next week's show. Kind of a best of a lot of the best of moments that happened last year, so you want to look forward to that and kind of recap some things. But before we get into our ultimate gifts, which I know it's already Christmas, seems useless, but this is something to keep in your back pocket for gift ideas for all of the gift-giving holidays that will be coming up again, mainly because we were too disorganized to do this before Christmas and had a few other things going on before Christmas. So this is just going to be a late gift-giving guide. Put it in your back pocket. But one of the things that we've talked about on the show a couple of times is bourbon. So I thought I'd throw it out there. Is there a bourbon that you've had in this last year that you really enjoy that you would gift to someone, or that you would not gift to anyone because it's so good you just want to keep it for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's one thing though. As we get into this topic, I ran into a guy from General Beverage, and I was talking to him, and obviously, I try to know as much as I can about my whiskeys and my bourbons, and we were talking, and he goes, as we go to the distillery in Richfield, which is our local place, me and Task, and then they have one in Grafton, and they do a tremendous job. All those Germantown guys, and Mallory behind the bar, she's just great. He said to me, he goes, "How do you drink your bourbon, or how do you drink your whiskey?" And I say, I need it on ice. I need it on ice. I can't drink it neat. And he goes, "You know what? You don't have to drink it neat." He goes, "If you really are a true whiskey connoisseur," he pulls out this eyedropper. He says you take less than a teaspoon. You take your pour, whether it's a 1 ounce or a 2 ounce pour, you keep it neat, and you drop, you take an eyedropper out and you drop less than a teaspoon of water into your bourbon or your whiskey. That little bit of water, not overwhelming like I like it because it kind of waters it down for me, but he says that little drop will open up the aromas. It will open up the chars, the oaks, the flavors. It will give you so much, and especially if you have these whiskeys and bourbons that we were talking about, or I was talking about with him, that were being aged now in wine barrels. He said, you will be surprised and amazed at how much one drop of water will pull out every taste in this 2 ounce pour of whiskey.
You need the water to release the phenolics. There's so many phenolics that are released.
The what?
Yeah.
Phenolics.
Okay.
It's all of those little minor. It's all those little minor things they talk about. These can give you more aromas, more flavors. All that comes out. That's all in the chemical compounds that are within the. Yes, I'm the encyclopedia that brings out the big words. Can you tell I'm a writer too?
I was just sitting here trying to process whatever you just said. So, yeah, that's interesting because
I just never seen anybody pull out the eyedropper. I've never seen that, and now that it was presented to me, now I notice it. I mean, you can go on Amazon and there's actually whiskey eyedroppers, and you can bring your case and stuff like that. It's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I don't do the whole eyedropper. I'll just off my finger, or like grab a spoon and just dump like a little splash, and I don't bother with an actual eyedropper. But yeah, that's actually how I prefer to drink my bourbon, is exactly like that. Just with a little splash of water on top of it, neat. That's absolutely the way that I prefer it. Rum, even the same way. I absolutely love it like that.
Yeah, I think it just, for me, I mean, I really do like bourbon, but as you start to get into some of the, I don't know how to explain it because I'm not really a connoisseur on it, but like the harsher ones that have like a heavier burn to them.
The higher proofs, really. It's where you find that.
Would much rather have a little more ice in them to just take a little bit of that edge off. Because it's like I want to drink it and I want to enjoy it, but I want to enjoy it. I just don't want to, I don't know, sit there and cough after each. I don't know, everybody's going to think I'm a wimp now.
Because some of these, you look at them in the 117 proof. I'm not a rye guy, and I think one of you two are rye.
I like rye.
I'm not a rye guy. No.
I enjoy rye. I love a good spiciness of a rye.
Yeah, see, I pass on the ryes, and then I look for the lower proof. If I'm in the 45% alcohol, the 90 proofs, I'm okay with that. So I love it because when you go places, these lists, and because whiskey and because bourbon has become such a phenomenon, like you can actually look at the whiskey list, not the wine list, but your whiskey list, and it gives you alcohol content, it gives you proof, and I have a tendency. Task, I go down and I look for the 90s. I look for the 92s, the 92.7s.
Yeah, I mean, we all talk about, like, one of my favorite, like, all-around drinkers is still Eagle Rare. I absolutely love it, which, the allocation of it is hard now because, and I don't know if anyone understands this, and I think I've told you guys this, but the biggest issue, people are like, oh, why can't I get Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, EH, any of these? That's all produced at Buffalo Trace outside of Lexington, Kentucky. In 2020, they had a fire there at the distillery, burned an entire barrel house. So if you think about how much bourbon was lost, and now to think about the fact that bourbon, from the minute it's first started to create, that you first, make the actual mash of it till the time it hits your store shelf, that's anywhere from 5 to 8 years that it takes. So now you've lost an entire barrel house of all of this bourbon that was going to be ready to hit market within the next couple of years. It's not there anymore. So now all of that supply has become so much smaller. That's why stuff like that is so rare and hard to find.
Yeah.
And then adding on the popularity of bourbon and the whole bourbon hunters and all that sort of thing, people, when they do find something like that, they're immediately just scooping it up and buying it up to try and sell in secondary market.
Yeah.
I promise you, 4 years from now, that won't exist. All of those brands, all of that stuff will be on store shelves because they'll have finally caught up now from the fire and everything. So I don't have a worry. I've kind of just sworn to the fact that I'm just not going to have Eagle Rare or Buffalo Trace for a while. I do have some at home right now, but once those bottles are gone, I'm probably not going to have them for a while.
Special occasions.
Right. Well, which is why I've moved on to Knob Creek 100. 100 proof Knob Creek is a fantastic bourbon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one you can sip on.
Is that what did we bring up to Canada?
That was Knob Creek 100.
Yeah.
We were drinking Knob Creek 100 proof.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic bourbon. You can sip it. You can mix it, if you want to do a little cocktail with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's to me a really, really good one that's easy to find on any store shelf. It's like $30 for a 750, so it's not going to break the bank. That's become kind of my go-to. Basil Hayden's another one that's kind of a go-to because again, it's easy to find and stuff. But Knob 100 is probably my biggest go-to. I've dabbled a bit this year. I went through a short period of time where Redemption High Rye was one I enjoyed. I do love. What is it? They're from out west in Utah. Why am I drawing a blank on the name?
High
West. Thank you. High West Double Rye is fantastic, and even just their straight bourbon is a really, really good drinkable bourbon. I think that's more of a mixer type bourbon myself, but that would be a good one. And of course, they'll stand by Woodford
that
Reserve.
That one High West is they have the American Prairie. American Prairie High West is a good one too. So
interesting. I've always seen those, and I thought they were. I mean, they look interesting. I've heard a lot about them, but I've never actually tried that. Wags, you were saying about those the bourbons that are starting to a little more potent. The ones that are getting aged in the wine barrels and things like that. One that Ritter, I know you and I have talked about that makes for probably one of the best old fashions. And I'm not usually a bourbon old fashioned. I'm a brandy guy. We're very fortunate to have Corbell here in the state of Wisconsin.
I'm not a brandy. I am a bourbon old fashioned, whiskey old fashioned.
The state drink, it's like.
Are you talking about this bottle tasker? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I've got it pulled up here. The Red Cabin Bourbon, which they're a great sponsor of 97.3 The Game. Not that label specifically, but Central Standard as a whole has, come on in a big way with 97.3 The Game. And I got a bottle of it after a golf outing as a thank you for playing in the outing. And it's harsh if you just have it by itself, but you nailed it when you said use that as your old-fashioned mix.
It's the ultimate old-fashioned.
Because it's got a little bit of that cherry in there. Mm-hmm. It is really, really good in an old-fashioned.
I know there's some people that will shun upon that you're mixing. No, I'm telling you that bourbon, and I know they didn't intend, I'm sure, at Central Standard for it to be that. That's the mixologist part of me going, that one is absolutely meant for that. That's what you do with that one. Another one we've talked about this past year, Drop Tine Spirits. They're 12-point. That to me also it's a mixer. It's definitely a mixer. Yeah. And again, I know they'd probably shun on me for saying mix with it. I think it's better mixed. I don't like it straight. I prefer it mixed. It's great as a mix.
Yeah. And there's some bourbons that are just going to be like that, and everybody, if the three of us could have very completely different opinions on any bottle that we were to pull out.
Last week's show, look what we did when we ranked our, our game. The differences in opinions and differences that we are. The whole reason I did that was just to kind of show that and showcase that.
Yeah, right.
So
so that would be mine. That's the Red Cabin. That would be mine. That I would
excellent selection.
For that. Yeah,
excellent as a gift to someone that you absolutely like and enjoy. I think that one comes in retail. I don't know how far it's distributed.
Yeah,
I think just the state of Wisconsin, but that's for $35-40 for $750. Well worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Central Standard obviously being with our 97.3 and all our sports talking and stuff like that. Jim Cantor's over there, who was with Miller Coors, and then he went with Sprecher. And Jimmy Cantor does it. He's going to fantasy camp, so we all get to try. He brings the booze down to Brewer Fantasy Camp, and everybody gets bottles. The one other one I noticed is just a veer off, a little bit of an off ramp, but we'll come right back on. They have the Door County Cherry Vodka.
So good.
Oh my, it's outstanding. And now they have these. They come in plastic bottles, already pre-mixed, so you can take them on your boat. You can have a good time. But the Door County Cherry Vodka, now that's very nice. But now let's get back on the whiskey train.
I'm not a vodka drinker. The only acceptable use for vodka is in a Bloody Mary to me.
Yeah,
the one I might have on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, I will say that I had my share of samples at the golf outing this year of the pre-mixed, and my client that I happened to be in the outing with was able to sweet talk his way into an entire 175 of the Door County Cherry Vodka lemonades that are the pre-mixed bottles that Wags was talking about, and it was gone by the end of the round.
I miss all the fun. You guys do all the fun things. I miss
I'm taking care of a client. I had to play in the golf outing. However I want to justify it, right?
Wags, you like this? Had to?
I had to. Yeah.
All right, now we got the bourbon. We got the bourbon talk out of the way. Let's start talking gifts, because I think, again, like I said, this is a great thing to keep in the back pocket and revisit perhaps going forward. I guess I'll start with like one of mine that I think is fantastic: a good set of pliers. Like a good set of fishing pliers, good metal pliers, especially one that may have like a lanyard that can clip like onto something with a line cutter in it. It's such a valuable tool, a good set of pliers. And anyone can utilize that. And it's something you can keep in your tackle box. You can use it, ice, boat, kayak, shore, whatever it would be. Good set of pliers, an easy, simple gift to get for anybody.
Yeah, that's great, especially when you've got the lanyard on there, or if you just put one on there.
Yeah.
I always think that's cool. So I went less on the functional side and more on the cool side. I've noticed that lately, because we were just talking about bourbon, there's a bunch of glasses now that you can get with either a bullet kind of molded into the side or a broadhead molded into the side. I've always thought that those are really cool, but I've never actually seen one in person. So I don't know if it's just kind of cool to look at, or if it's actually like cool in person, because sometimes there's a letdown with that. But I think that would be cool to get.
I know my boy Anthony with Lit Beard Company.
Yeah.
With Lit Beard Co. He did a special release on some of those. They had like a cheese head.
Yeah.
Like a little cheese head
that's
pushed
funny.
into the glass. It's something he did with Lit Beard Co. Which, if you know a bearded man, Lit Beard Company, there's one that I'll add there of a great gift. I absolutely love some of the fragrance. My wife, we were out to dinner the other day. She's like, "Oh, that Beardo smells really good." I'm like, "Yep, Lit Beard Co."
Wow.
Thank
Getting up close and personal at dinner, huh? Or it was just like fragrant and it was radiating out.
She may have leaned in to want to smooch because she wanted to be intimate once. I don't know.
Here we go with the intimacy.
I'm getting hot and sweating. We gotta move on. Wags, what do you got?
I came into it. You had mentioned this, but I did have this before. The company that I use, and I got it from Cabela's, is Elements. And Elements is it's a battery. It's like a battery. It's also a hand warmer, and it also has that USB port to charge your cell phone. I found it. I actually have two of them now. I think that's a great gift because I'm going to go hunting-wise, but you can also – so my daughter takes it when she's the basketball manager. She'll take it on the road, or she'll take it to the games, and this charger – no, she doesn't turn the heater port on her, but she can also multi-use it just to charge her phone. So I'm a really big fan of them, and you get different sizes. One has two ports, one has one port. Again, it's heater. It's the size of a battery, maybe the size of a small calculator. I love them, and I think you had mentioned them. Maybe you even have one that are – I'm not sure if you said you did.
We were talking about a couple weeks ago because that was St. Nick had dropped in my stocking one of the Zippo rechargeable hand warmers. Yeah. And I was skeptical at first until I started using it. Like, I'm impressed with how fast it gets hot, how well it works. And like, I'm so glad I have it now because I've got one. I think I'll probably actually get a second going forward. But it was great to use for those cold sits here late season. And then I'm even looking at it going into ice fishing. It's going to be great to have ice fishing because a lot of times there's one hand that always gets cold and you just need that little extra something.
Yeah.
I can stick it in my pocket, and keep it warm while I'm going out setting tip ups and doing those things. It'll be great to have that mobile heat with me because, again, I just feel like the paper shaky, they don't ever last as long. They don't work as good. To me, they're just wasteful because I'm a hippie like that. But yeah, definitely the recharging portion of it, which was actually one of the things that I had on my list, was a rechargeable phone, like battery pack. Mm-hmm. But like I like what you said, Wags. Go with the rechargeable hand warmer. It does double duty. Like I can't tell you how much I've used my rechargeable phone banks already, just out and doing things, and it's going to be handy to have, just out in the kayak and stuff throughout the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and mine are literally plugged in right now. I have it right in my hand. This one's a Thermocharge 10 by Elements, Celestron. It's the bigger one. It just says it right on it. Hand warmer power bank. They're phenomenal. They're phenomenal.
Another rechargeable device I'm going to add on there: rechargeable fillet knife. Your cordless rechargeable fillet knife. Another great gift for some sort of outdoorsman, especially fishing. But hot tip here. Now, when I've got the prime rib coming out of the oven later here, Christmas Eve dinner, that's what we do is the prime rib. I take out my electric fillet knife. I only ever use it to actually carve the prime rib.
I was going to ask you that if you were an electric knife guy.
Oh no,
or if I didn't think that's not on brand for you.
I'm the good sharp knife, hard old school way. But you know what? The electric fillet knife can come in super handy if you've got like a giant pile of whitefish, and that's when I've used it before. It's the big giant pile of whitefish. When you're just quick slabbing off, and then going back and cutting ribs and pulling the Y bones that way. When you've got that many fish, it's actually pretty handy. Just zip, zip, zip.
Sure.
Versus, cutting through and.
Yeah.
But I love it for just prime rib.
Yeah.
So there's one rechargeable electric fillet knife.
I guess this could go one of two different directions for my next one with the subscription boxes. So, Ritter, this could be both for you. Either a really nice coffee subscription, because I feel like that's just kind of in our nature.
I like that.
Like you need a nice cup of coffee in the morning before you go out to the woods or the first thing when you get back in the morning on a cold day. So a coffee subscription, or there's a bunch of different, like the mystery tackle boxes or, the survival boxes or any of those things. I think that those are really cool. Now, they are kind of pricey, but, if it's, I don't know, I mean, depending on what your budget is, maybe it's something you can look at.
My only question that I bring up on those, like the mystery tackle box, the monster, but whatever all those things are, I'm too afraid I'd just end up with a bunch of crap I'm never going to use. Because
that's the risk you got to take.
Right, but if it's someone that's not, very specific fishing like I am, or someone just trying to kind of build an arsenal of different tactics and different lures, absolutely, I think it's a great
cool
thing.
Way to just kind of get into some different things. And I would just actually be curious just to see some of the different things that you would get with it, like especially for you, Ritter, because I know that, you would know 10 times more about just like different times to use lures, or like if I got an assortment of lures, I would just go out and I would just use them and they probably wouldn't be used at the right time.
I think Mystery Tackle Box almost even comes with like an instruction manual.
Oh, really?
In the box.
Yeah,
I believe
nice.
that they do that.
Yeah. All right. That's my next one.
All right. I'm going to jump in again with another one. Something that I love and use all the time. It's my extra tough self-bailing shoes. Because they look like just like nice, almost look like Nike tennis shoes.
Yeah.
But they're self-bailing. So I jump in and out of the water. I don't have wet shoes necessarily. It bails the water out. I think that's a must-have for kayaking, just for like wading. If you're going to do anything stepping in the water, like to have some sort of water shoes. Those to me are the ultimate water shoes. Or even, I know like you just got the new Dry Code boots. Dry Code makes those rubber, boots that are kind of like ankle height or like mid height. I think that's a great kind of idea to give someone because you can use it, as like a rain boot. You can use it as a fishing boot. There's so many ways that you can use it. It makes for just a great outdoors person gift.
Yeah.
I like a knife. A knife is always, you can always use a knife, but the biggest thing I need is I need a sharpener. I need to sharpen my knife all the time. And I finally found a handheld. It's by Fiskars. And it's a small, it actually sharpens my knife. I can't sit there. I can't go back and forth on a, on a stone. I mean, I don't have time for that. I need the fast slide it through my crisscross, let it peel, diamond, whatever plated it is, and let it sharpen my knife. So I always want, and I always carry now I have two of them, and I got them in all different places in both four-wheelers, and then I'm one in a Ranger. But I always like it because it seems like every time I'm either field dressing, whether I'm fishing, whether I'm hunting, whether we're birds, whether anything we're doing, my knife always seems to become dull. And I just love having a good, if you can find a quality knife sharpener, I think that's ideal, and it's a good piece. That's
absolutely a good one. I'm going to just throw one more last one in there. Wigwam socks. Good pair of Wigwam socks.
Wisconsin company.
To me, they make the ultimate in just like that cold weather, keep your feet warm, but they also even have some other like better wicking socks for summertime. I love all my Wigwam socks. Big fan of Wigwam socks. I mean, I could bonus throw a couple more in there, but those are kind of, I think, that fit anyone. I mean, if you're a fisherman like me, like sun shirts are big time. The Under Armour or the Hook that I always wear, like the fishing jersey shirts, it's a must to avoid sun and go along with the sun gloves. I love my gloves. If you see me fishing, I'm wearing my fingerless sun gloves, the like sim style ones where the palm of your hand is cut open like I have, because I like to be able to actually still feel and have that grip of your actual palm of your hand along with your fingertips. Those are great ideas and all not that expensive. Someone can use throughout the year while they're fishing.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are all good, right? I get a little variety in there.
I thought so.
Some specifics. But, yeah, you know, it's funny, actually. Those, like, rechargeable hand warmers, the Zippo one, and then there was another one that was a solar-powered one that I kept looking through. I'm, like, looking at a Men's Health list of 40 gifts for the outdoorsman in your life, and those were both in there.